Hey everybody, it's John with National Sports Entertainment, and I wanted to go into tonight's games. This won't be incredibly long, it's just going to be going into the NBA games for tonight and our NFL game. So for the NBA, I used mostly metrics. I went with, for example, first I'll go into the ones with, the only one I really went with the narrative on is I went with the Hawks here. I went with them as a leg 3 of our San Francisco loss, simply because I do think that without Drew Holiday, they're going to paint the narrative that it's not enough. Capella is a great guy to explain why Giannis, he might play well, but he's going to, I think, manage him and get rebounds and prevent offensive rebounds and things of that nature. And Giannis isn't even 100%, quote, you don't know how they really are. But it does look like Drew is definitely out. So I think a lot of people take Milwaukee to bounce back, hold serve, and there's a good chance of a spoil. But I'm taking Atlanta plus the 4. Also because they're pushing Trae into club superstar, if you haven't noticed. Basically, they're pushing him into that Devin Booker category, which is good because we can pick the Hawks a lot going forward. They're pushing them basically not as an 8 seed, but now they're as a potential division winner. You can just see the flip. So speaking of that flip, we got the Heat, and I think they win. I think a lot of the public is going to be on Phoenix. Phoenix and Chris Paul specifically are known for when they travel, when they go far, after playing a couple games, they'll go out there and lay an egg. And that's what I expect, especially with most of the public being on Phoenix most likely. I think Butler plays good. I think Bam plays good. I pointed out before when Oladipo does not play, Jimmy said this himself, the Heat typically win. He said he doesn't like sharing the court with him. We don't know how true that is. But so I do like the Heat to cover that too, as well as the Hawks to cover the 4. This one was given to me by somebody in my Discord, and his name is Heath, and he gives me good alpha. And he basically said he likes the Pistons plus the 4.5 because they're talking about Cade Cunningham's injury, but they're not really focusing on Siakam's. We got Van Fleet hurt for the Raptors. They're on the road. They have a lot of role players hurt, and now they've been missing Siakam. I think players like Jaden Ivey do really well, and it just makes sense. I think a lot of people are still going to take the Raptors because they're the Raptors and the Pistons suck. So I do like the Pistons to cover that spread. And then I took 2 over-unders. And I'm sorry if I'm going a little fast. It's just because I just did a 30-minute video, which apparently I did not have enough data for. So I'm just trying to get the picks out. Here I do like the over because you can see it at 220.5. And if you know my metrics, on the over-under, here we got the Clippers at 15%. That just does not hold over time. It's never going to hold. You can go back as far as you want. Just for time purposes, I'm only going to just show a couple, but 58%, 39%. So you can see nobody's even close to 15%. And I know it's early in the season, but again, they have to get them off that 39%. So it's just not going to hold. So the Clippers, I think, go over. And I also think the Celtics and Oklahoma City go under for the same reason. Yeah, 66% you can finish with, but for them to keep going over, and the public's probably going to be pounding the over on the Celtics because them and Oklahoma City have been scoring. So I like the under there, and I like the over on the Clippers. And that just leaves the Warriors. I went with them because if you look at their against the spread, and they've done this with a lot of playoff teams I've noticed, Dallas, Miami, Golden State, Memphis, Minnesota, a lot of your playoff teams are doing bad against the spread. So I do think the Warriors get off that 4-9, 30%. They might start them off a little slow and act like maybe they're not as good, but they're going to get in. So I think they definitely cover that spread, have a strong home outing, and win. And that just leaves the football game. And my intuition has been for weeks since I knew they were playing back-to-back primetime games that there was a good chance the Eagles lose to the Commanders. I knew they were going to beat the Texans, and I thought it would be a pretty big win, but this one makes sense. It puts Washington at 5-5. The best team in the NFC, quote, beast, will be better than the worst team. The worst team will be better than the best team in the NFC South. And it just makes sense. A lot of money is going to be on the Eagles. So I'm taking the Commanders with the 11.5 because if they don't win, I still think they cover. So it's something to fall back on. But the narrative here is I think there's a good chance Washington hands Philly their first loss. Nobody's thinking of it. They're thinking the Giants will or the Cowboys will. And I think it would be really interesting. So those are all my picks. I'm going to go into the playoffs and all of that probably in my next video. I just wanted to get this out there, and my data is just running low. So Take care and happy earnings. And like I said, I think we have a good night tonight with our basketball picks.